Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today let's talk a little bit about kind of the reincarnation loop, but mainly what is our true purpose here. Okay. Now my ideas may be a little bit all over the place because I just kind of hop on with a general theme of what I would like to talk about and have some points that I like to string together. So just try and follow through. I promise I'd try to kind of tie it all in together. But in order to really get out these points, I want to first of all talk about the fact that many people are looking for kind of like their true purpose, right? And I know me being one of them, that's why I got into astrology, numerology, decoding. And there are many different forms. There's not just astrology, numerology. There's the human design. There's the Enneagram, whatever, personality chart. But these are kind of all just reflections of just that, the personality, the persona. And what is the persona? It's a kind of character that we play on the stage, right? William Shakespeare said that the whole world is a stage, and we are just characters playing a role, right? So the thing is, how long do you want to play this role? How long do you want to be part of this amusement park, this ride? And one may think that, oh, my true purpose is this role. I found this role. I found what I'm supposed to do here in this matrix. I'm supposed to be a financial advisor. I'm supposed to be an engineer, a top dog. I'm supposed to be a spiritual teacher. I'm supposed to be some kind of, messenger. And while that may be true, yeah, hey, at a soul level, maybe you came in here kind of from outside the matrix, from outside the system of control, to maybe guide people in a sense. Very possible. But to those people that kind of like have been stuck here for longer amounts of time, and this gets into the idea of older souls as well, people that have reincarnated since the times of Atlantis, where potentially we were hijacked to begin with, right? Some of these souls have kind of lost their way in a sense. They've been here so many times that they've accepted their fate. And what is fate? What is this notion of determinism that everything is happening for us? Well, could the characters on, let's say, a TV show just simply accept their fate and let themselves be guided by the screenwriter, right? Yeah, for sure. And at a deeper level, at a higher level rather, at a more benevolent level, potentially, source is kind of guiding us back to that mission, that role. But at the lower level, at the more manipulative level, we can also be guided by these beings that are not necessarily incarnated. They would love to be incarnated, or rather they simply seek to manipulate people that are incarnated for good fun and entertainment, right? Kind of like a screenwriter would do for the entertainment of others, right? Kind of like sports. Sports are considered entertainment, and whether you believe it or not, I've found large amounts of evidence, and based on motive and other things, that sports are controlled, rigged, intensively, not just a little bit here and there for some bets, for entertainment. They want to extract the most amount of energy from that game by playing with people's emotions. And that's really what this world is. It's a roller coaster of emotions if you let yourself kind of be taken on the ride, right? If you accept the ups and downs and you don't know what's next, and your life is like a roller coaster. It's filled with emotional kind of reactions, right? Reactions. We're acting again and again and again and again in a loop, in an infinity. The infinity is sideways. It's not up and down like an 8, right? We're not going from up to down. We're not traveling interdimensionally. We're stuck in the same dimension of this 3D realm. And even who knows how much outside of that there is. So considering, the effect that the moon has on us astrologically and, energetically, astrologically, whatever. I'm going to use those interchangeably, really. And then, through other spheres, if, you guys may have heard of kind of traveling through the spheres, and there's the moon sphere. Then I believe it goes Mercury or Mars. I'm not saying that the order of the planets, the actual spheres have different influences on our planets, and there's an actual chart picture that has been shown, coming from various secret societies or whoever really made it. And we go through each of the spheres, kind of like levels of heaven, the 7 spheres, right? The 7 bodies that rule our dimension, in a sense, our reality, our script. Could they really be playing with these planets and, tweaking them to access the most amount of emotions from us, the most amount of influence on our lives, these lives that we feel we have free will in, right? But what are we really acting upon, right? When we have a desire, we're acting upon an impulse that we have in our body, this desire that says, oh, I want more of this. Oh, I want that relationship. Oh, I need this. Oh, is that free will? If we're kind of reacting to something, right? We're reacting to this innate feeling, whereas being completely in balance and detached from any sort of desire, any, we're not having any attachment to this Maya, to this illusory world. And therefore, whether it goes up or down, or we gain or lose, it has no impact, right? We become neutral. We now have a neutral charge, to the point where we are not exerting any more energy. We are not being, what's the word? Fished for energy. We're not being, used for our energy anymore, for our imbalances, right? Because that can only exist when you have imbalances in your system, and all they need to do is push a button and boom, you've reacted. Boom, that bothers you. Boom, that makes you happy. That gives you so much joy. Oh, you're so madly in love. You've fallen in love, right? Whereas you don't, if you walk around kind of this unconditional love for everything, understanding that this illusory realm is still made out of the essence of source, still source itself, and you see that in everything, and you have this love for everything, but with a healthy neutrality or detachment to it. It's not my dog, it's not my wife, it's a variation of source. It's, oneness. It's a part of me, right? When you take ownership of something, to love something is very different than to take ownership of it. When you love something, you let it free. You let it express itself freely. But when you make something yours, you try to control it, and you become very attached to it when it leaves, right? That's why all these issues come up of possession, jealousy, being overbearing and controlling. Now, I'm not saying I'm necessarily at that stage myself. I still struggle with plenty of attachments. And, the first step really is being aware of it. The first step to solving a problem is realizing there is one, right? Being aware of it. And then kind of going past the vibration of the problem, transcending it, and understanding things from a higher vantage point, from a higher perspective, so that you can then alleviate the issue, right? You can't solve the problem from the same mindset as the problem. So going back to the actual purpose, when we see all these things, how can our purpose still be in this world? right? If the world is an illusion, how can my purpose be to participate in the illusion? That's just kind of a thought that I've had, right? If the world is an amusement park, how can my purpose be to really be amused, right? Because I'll be stuck here. Now, if I want to experience all the rides in the amusement park, great. Yes, then my purpose is to be amused. But if you've kind of awakened to something higher and you said, okay, there's got to be something more to this than just feeling happy, sad, going to work, going to sleep, eating senseless pleasures and desires. There must be something higher, right? There must be some sort of existence that is facilitating this. Now, whether it's being controlled or pushed onto us by various entities, or it's simply for our enjoyment, is a different question. Kind of hard for it to be for our enjoyment when it feels so hijacked and nothing here seems that easy, right, in terms of action and reward, right? Yes, they've kind of put a high emphasis on action, but a low emphasis on the reward, right? A low benefit to your action. So that's the thing. When you realize the system is corrupt, then how high does it go? What's the motive? What is really going on? And when you think about how these ancient belief systems, religions, Buddhism, considered this whole world a samsara, and at the top of the wheel there was a demon, right, chewing on that wheel, right, kind of feeding on the energy. And when you think about how we are, in a sense, all electromagnetic, we are alkaline and acidic like batteries, we emit a sort of energy, then it makes you wonder, hey, where is my energy going? And then you see it throughout various films, and it makes you wonder, there's got to be something more, there's something in this. And why do we not remember, our past lives? If these things are such lessons, how come I can't remember my past mistakes? How come I come in here with the extreme focus of making the same mistake, while I still have this sort of ego that is leading me astray, right? We've kind of fallen to this immense suffering for the hope that it awakens us, but why not just let us retain our memory that, hey, we made a mistake, we are going to learn from it. But of course that can have many different arguments that can be presented. But upon my own research and study of astrology and numerology and these various occult sciences, you realize that kind of astrology, numerology, these things are reflecting a script. Who was the script made by? Who influenced us? Many people talk about this life review that happens after death, and they convince you that, oh, you made a mistake, oh, you got to go back, you have to go back, and they make you feel so guilty, and they talk to you like the world absolutely needs you in some way. So again, free will, where is that they're consuming you, they're pushing you, they're motivating you to do something that maybe you don't actually need to do. Karma, this notion of karma kind of serves to really bring you back here again and again and again and again. And then there's all these things about the false light, about going into the light, being programmed from an early stage. From when you even come out of the womb, you come from the darkness into the light, from dark to light, like the Masons like to really speak about. So there's this notion of always going into the light. There's now, the New Age belief, the New Age fad of ascension. We're rising, we're ascending in vibration, right? But they hardly tell you that first you must descend into your deepest depths to kind of find that shadow aspect of you and bring it up with you and integrate it with you and shine light on that by acknowledging it. But there's so many different traps that exist along the way where you can fall prey to. And that's kind of like levels, I guess. People just aren't ready necessarily to accept everything, to look into the darkness. So maybe like after death, people are stuck in the same consciousness that they achieved here on Earth. And they see the light and they go to it right away because that's what they've been programmed to. They never faced that belief that, hey, just because it's light doesn't necessarily mean it's good, right? I see light. I can see the light of the sun. I can see the light of a bulb or LED or whatever artificial that was made. And can I tell the difference? Right? Can I tell what is warm and loving and accepting and what is fake? Or do I even choose a third option and I go into the darkness? And will that darkness lead me to the actual light, right? From down to above and out of the loop, right? Even Q, the 17th, whatever. The circle, and then poof, the line comes out, right? The letter Q in and of itself, right? A loop, the figure 8 loop, the demiurge, the Ouroboros that controls this, spoken about in the Gnostics and all that. So there are very many puzzle pieces that you kind of have to put together before you just simply draw a conclusion that, hey, we're just here to have fun and enjoy and everything's all good. Because maybe it's not. So maybe there's something deeper. Maybe this game is really just that hard. And there's only like 1 to 10% of the whole population that's even sort of awakened. Do we even know if the other people are just extras on the set, on the film set, on the role play, right? They're just kind of extras. They don't really have the possibility of being even awakened. And then 1% of that, like 1 to 10%, are even seeing higher than the actual paradigms that they have been kind of fed to them to keep them into another box, right? It's like these boxes and boxes, kind of like the hypercube of Saturn. So many different things. It's a lot. It can be definitely quite a lot. That's why it takes time to go through each stage, and you need to make sure you're integrating everything. Otherwise, you can lose your mind, and I've definitely come close to that myself. But getting back to the actual purpose, so then once we've transcended this role of the matrix, of astrology, of the wheel. Astrology is a wheel, this actual wheel of samsara. Once you get to the 12th, just resets to the 1, right? So getting out of it would be 13 instead of going to 1. On the clock, 1 is equal to 13. So would that just be a new cycle? Potentially not. But once you get out of this samsara, once you transcend the role of your, let's say, astrological sign, in Vedic astrology, the moon is more influenceable than the sun, because the moon is the ego. The moon is the ego is what gets wiped. The moon wipes your memory, your ego, your conscious memory, whereas the soul always remembers the sun, my belief at least. So if you're an Aries moon and you get past this, warlike nature, and you become all of a sudden more peaceful, and people try to read your astrology and they can't read you because you've transcended every level, every facet of your astrology. You basically fulfilled your actual purpose I believe, of exiting the matrix, of exiting the loop of influence on your soul. Yeah, so yeah, that was a lot of information I may have presented. A lot of things that I hope I strung together well. But yeah, take some time to process this information and think really about your purpose. How can you have an actual, fulfilling purpose in this illusionary world when the actual purpose is to leave? Right? So, something to think about, right? Something to think about. Can you still find fulfillment in this world? Of course. But just remember, the end game really isn't to be here. It's kind of potentially to be back home, right? Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have ever seen that SpongeBob movie. I forgot which one it was. I remember watching it with my brother. And they're going to like look for the crown, the King Neptune's crown or something. It had been stolen. And they were going to the lost city of Atlantis or somewhere else. And on the way, there was this amusement park. And of course, Keanu Reeves was kind of like, his face was in this bush and was acting like a messenger for them. And he led them to this place that they had to get through, the amusement park. And he told them, listen, you need to make it through this. Don't get lost in its sightseeing and its attractions, right? And they said, oh, no, we won't get lost. Don't worry, we won't get lost. And what did they do? They absolutely spent their whole night there, got wasted, and Keanu Reeves finds them the next morning, passed out. So maybe something similar is happening here, where we got lost in the amusement park, and we're slowly waking back up to the fact that we've experienced everything already and we're tired of it. Right? So we're tired of the game show, of being part of the Truman Show, and we realize something's off. Something doesn't make sense. We don't want to just go to sleep, wake up, eat, go to work, whatever, make some money. Right? We're done with the game. Yeah. All right, that's enough. All right, have a good day, guys. Bye.